Hi everyone, Sebastien here. So today I want to talk about sharing the Lagree method on social media. And right now you're probably all wondering, why am I wearing this chef costume? Well, it kind of dawned on me that sharing the method is very much like sharing a recipe. Now there's a show that I love to watch. It's called Iron Chef. You probably are familiar with this. And in that show you have a chef competing and then what they do is basically they're given a set of ingredients and they all have the same set of ingredients and they have to make different dishes. And what's amazing to me is that both teams have the same ingredients. Sometimes it's multiple teams, right? And they all have access to the exact same ingredients, but it's the method of preparation that is different, right? And then you can see the different dishes at the end of the show, and you can see all the different dishes that were created from the same ingredients. So I cannot stop thinking that, well, cooking and Lagree have a lot in common, right? So, you know, when you cook, you're gonna have hardware, you're gonna have a spatula, you're gonna have a wooden spoon, you have your kitchen knife, and you have your toaster and your grill and all that stuff. Well, in Lagree, we also have hardware, right? We have the megaformer, we have our handles, we have our springs, we have a ring of fire, right? We have the same kind of hardware. In cooking, you have the software. The software is the method of preparation. You know, how you're gonna basically, you're gonna fillet something, you're gonna have, poach something or whatever, right? You have different methods of preparation. Well, in Lagree we do too. You know, we have a magic 8. We use time under tension. We use progressive overloading. So we also have our own software, our own method of preparation that we call train techniques. But the final piece that puts it all together, and that's pretty much what I want to talk about today, are the ingredients, the exercises, right? So the exercises in Lagree are the cooking ingredients. That is very important. Now, it's also important to know that an exercise does not define the method, right? Just like in cooking, an ingredient doesn't define a dish because this ingredient can be used in many different ways. So in Lagree, it's the exact same principle. Working out, for example, on the megaformer does not make it a Lagree exercise, okay? Now, maybe I shouldn't say that in front of you, but I'm going to say it. I do Pilates, all right? I do some Pilates exercise on the megaformer. All right, I admit it, okay? I love the short spine. I love the long spine. I do them probably not as often as I should on the megaformer. I don't go and use a reformer for Pilates exercise. I use the megaformer. But the short spine and the long spine, great exercises. Everybody should be doing them. But it's not a Lagree exercise. And I also do practice yoga on the megaformer. I do my downward dog. I love the downward dog. I do it on the megaformer, on the micro. I do it on the floor when I'm traveling. I do a lot of yoga exercises on the machine. But it doesn't mean that it's a Lagree exercise. So I want all of you today to kind of align your thoughts with me on what is a good Lagree exercise and what is not. So I've prepared, the number one, when I create a new exercise to be included in the Lagree method, I always ask myself these 3 questions. And those are the questions I ask myself anytime I modify anything, right? It could be adding an exercise, it could be adding a new training technique, it could be adding a new feature on the machine, right? For me, I always ask myself these 3 questions, okay? First of all, number 1 question, is it safe? Is it safe to do in a group environment? There are some exercises today we're going to show you that I don't approve because they're not safe in the group environment. They're actually dangerous, okay? So is it safe for everyone? Not just one person in class. Is it safe for everyone in class to do this exercise today? Number 1 question that you should always ask yourself. The second question, is it effective? Is this exercise supposed to do what it's supposed to do? But not just for one person, for everyone. Because I know sometimes you do your classes and you have someone who's in really great shape and like, oh my God, you really want to make that workout difficult for that one person, but the rest of the class can't follow that one person, you know? So you have to make sure that everyone can enjoy the same exercise. So is it effective for everyone in class? And the last question that I ask myself, is it efficient? And I mean in a time way, is it time efficient? If I introduce this exercise to a group of 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, next year I'll do micro events with 100 people. is this exercise efficient for 100 people? Can 100 people get into the position and start working out together at the same time right away? Yes or no? Again, if the answer is no, I'm not going to teach this exercise. So these are the 3 factors that I use to filter which exercise I think is appropriate for the Lagree method, which ingredients we want and which ingredients we don't want. And now I'm going to ask Lacey to come, and then Lacey and I are going to show you what exercise we think you should not be teaching in class, in a group format, right? And now here to demonstrate with me, here's Lacey. Lacey, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Very good. So I've also mic'd Lacey so she can comment on the exercise. So the first exercise that, the first category of exercise that I want to demo is the exercise where both feet are on the carriage, okay? So I'm gonna show the super lunge, and I'm gonna show what people call the reverse super lunge, okay? And that's since we did a little video on driving with Seb, a lot of people have been asking about this exercise, and then since that post, and I've told people not to do that, what am I seeing? More posts of people doing the exact same exercise. So I'm gonna show you right over here. We're gonna put, let's put 2 black springs for you, Lacey, all right? So this exercise right over here is called the super lunge, right? So we're gonna show you the exercise that is approved for Lagree, right? So this one over here is called the super lunge, right? So a lot of people thought that this is a good exercise, that the opposite is true. By the way, I want to point out something. About 2 years ago, there was a video that was released at a studio. I'm not going to say which studio it is, but someone fell off the machine doing a super lunge. And what that person was doing is a variation on the super lunge that I would never do. And it's this one, hold it halfway and go carefully. The person was pulsing, but not from the legs. So when we pulse on a pulse on a super lunge, we just go up and down with the hips, right? So go ahead and pulse up and down. Okay. So these people at that studio were not pulsing this way. They were pulsing, pulling on the handles. So go ahead, keep the carriage. They were doing this. Now Lacey is super strong, but that one person who did that exercise, what do you think happened? Somersault inside area 51. She probably hurt herself. So please kind of use your brain and to see if this is not good. There should not be sudden movement of the carriage, never, okay? So now let's turn around and let me show you what you should not do on the megaformer, okay? So this is not even subject to interpretation. Don't teach this exercise, please. There you go. All right? And that's the reverse super lunge. And then, by the way, this should be called the super lunge, and then the other one should be called the reverse super lunge because technically you're facing the back. But over here, and Lacey is strong. She knows this machine. I work with her constantly, and she's struggling. And she's on the Mega Pro. She actually has the right anchoring to do this exercise and still struggling. So this is called the reverse super lunge. I don't recommend it. And you can stop right here. Don't hurt yourself. Another exercise that I've seen is the standing torso twist. So I'm going to remove a black spring for this one. Lacey, we're going to keep maybe 3 white springs. I'll do 3 whites and a silver. So this one is called the standing torso twist. Don't teach this exercise either. It's in French, we say casse-gueule. Casse-gueule means you're going to face plant, okay? Now, it might look good because sometimes you have instructors like Lacey who are very fit, and Lacey can do literally anything she wants with her body, but it doesn't mean that the exercise is safe. I don't like this type of movement. I really don't. Now, it's up to you, but again, this is an exercise that I don't recommend. I've seen that, and you know, the only application, if you did a sport specific, like surfing, for example, maybe that would actually help surfers, but this is not part of the Lagree workout. So maybe it could be a sport-specific workout, but not the Lagree method. Thank you. Another exercise, you can stay over here, because another one that we have are some people are balancing on the carriage of one leg. So I'm actually gonna, I'm not even sure we're gonna show that. So I've seen that on the micro, okay, and on the mini. I haven't seen it on the mega yet. Yeah, I'm gonna hold you actually on this one. I'm gonna hold Lacey. And so I post exercise like this on social media because I think they're extraordinary. And we're gonna go next, right? So I've seen this. And on the micro, if you want to do that yourself, you could probably do it. But this is not a good class exercise. I hardly see how 100 people could be doing this without falling. And you can stop right over here. Thank you. Okay, so 2 feet on the carriage. The only one I approve are exercises like the super lunge. Okay, always facing the back, not the sideways, not facing the front. If you have 1 foot on the carriage, balancing, again, these are exercises that I think are not safe in a group environment. Which brings me to my next category of exercise, and those are the TikTok exercise, right? So we have phenomenal people, including Lacey, who can really do amazing things in the body. So I love to repost these pictures and those videos online, but it doesn't mean that it's approved for the Lagree method. If we have someone doing a handstand on the platform and the carriage, I'm going to repost it because it's spectacular to look at, extraordinary, but it's not a group exercise. These are not exercise for group fitness. So this is what you really have to kind of ask yourself, can this exercise, is this exercise safe, effective, efficient in group fitness? And those are the TikTok exercise, right? And so I don't really have any TikTok exercise. We have sometimes gymnasts who love to do, use the bars like parallel bars, and they go into a spoon, into a handstand, all that stuff. Fantastic. I absolutely love watching this because I can't do that myself, okay? These are real heroes, but do not do this exercise in class. These are not group exercises, okay? One arm exercise. So a lot of people do, now we're gonna kind of shift gear. We're gonna go toward the one arm cable exercise. So let's go ahead and let's show like a real delta exercise, okay? So I see that a lot. People are kneeling on the machine and you do this right over here, that. Okay, that's actually even better, but just do this one right here like that, pulling from the elbows, right? And that's a great exercise, no doubt, but not in a Lagree workout. The intensity of this exercise is literally low, okay? Those are Pilates exercises, by the way. You can do those on the reformer. This is a great way to isolate the real delts. And I think that if you work with a PT and you do have problems with your shoulders, these are great exercises to do. So those are physical therapy, one-on-one exercise, great. In a Lagree workout, it's safe, it's effective, it's somewhat efficient. Well, actually, it's not very efficient because you actually have to do the other arm. So if you want to do a cable exercise in a Lagree workout, I recommend to grab both cables and do both arms at a time. So that way, at least you're not wasting another minute to do the other arm, right? And you can do the same thing like this you were doing, right? You can do the exact same movement. The really cool thing about the Mega, it's this floating, it's this carriage with the spring and the cable. With this, you can do an unlimited version of exercises, but it doesn't mean that all these exercises are high intensity, low impact, and they're effective, efficient, and safe, right? So again, if you love to do one-arm cable exercise, I don't want to shit on your parade, right? Or is it rain on the parade, right? It doesn't matter, shit, rain is the same thing, right? This exercise right over here, is going to be actually, it's consumed too much time, okay? This exercise, the results you get for the time invested is very little. So there are other arm exercises that you can integrate without doing this one. Other exercises that are not so effective are exercise in area 51. So I see a lot of people doing exercise where they put a foot over here, for example. They'll try to do it like a reverse floor lunge, and they have 1 foot. They have 1 foot in area 51, and actually, Lacey, they're going to put the knee on the pad over here. So that's how they do it, and the knee over here. There you go. I don't like this because it's a long setup. You're not going to really feel anything, okay? That is part of the category. There's another one that we're going to do where Lacey is going to put a foot on the platform. I think that if you have a class maybe of people who have special conditions and maybe these people cannot do a regular workout, so I'm thinking about people of maybe older people cannot do the full routine and need to go half speed, then that would be maybe appropriate. The other one, go ahead and put your foot on the platform. That's another version also that I saw. These exercises are not intense enough. I don't see it. I see them done on the front. I see them on the back. I've seen different variation of this one. Here, Lacey, go ahead and put your left foot on 12, right foot on 10, but kind of turn facing us now, kind of opening up your hips. That's another one too that I've seen. But keep your knee on the carriage though. There you go, like this, yeah. That's another one too. These exercises look good, but in my opinion, they're not very effective. Okay, I actually have had some people complaining about this exercise, complaining about the knees. I'm not really sure because I don't teach that stuff. I don't think they're good for a group class. I think these are the exercises you do more one-on-one when people have specific condition. Like for example, someone cannot balance on the feet, so then they could do this. It would be a modification. But I would not offer this as a standard exercise in a normal Lagree class. So if you come and take my class on Sundays at the Mega Pharmacy in Brentwood, you're not gonna see that shit, okay? Because I don't have time, and I actually go over time, and Danielle always kills me about this. Sorry, Danielle. I know the class is 50 minutes, but I always do 60 minutes because, well, the caliber of people that come to class is so good, it's so high that I can't do a 50-minute class. I'm excited about who's in class, and then the excitement takes over, and I always do a 60-minute class. So, sorry, okay? But you're not gonna find these exercises over here. Another exercise that I've seen are like the spinal flexion and extension, right? You should not waste the people time. So we're gonna do we'll do like a seated row on this one, and then I'm gonna put a black and a white spring. You can have this. And I know it feels good. So this exercise right over here, I do it on the Mega Former myself when I do like a back workout. And this is like all this, the flexion and extension right over here. No, don't teach that. Why? Because in your mind, and I know exactly what you're thinking, you're rolling up the spine sequentially, you know how the spine is working, but in the application, you're gonna have 30 people doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and some of those people may actually pinch a nerve because they're not rolling the spine sequentially. So these are Pilates exercises. Again, you need to separate the Lagree method and the Pilates method. We don't teach Pilates, so instead of teaching this exercise, teach a seated row. Sit cross-legged, shoulders back, and right over here. And just focus on the postural alignment. That is a much better exercise to teach than the other bullshit, okay? On this one, this is more contained. The form is more structured. There's less room for personal interpretation of the exercise. That is good. So the spinal flexion extension, great for gyrotonic, great for ballet. You can probably do that in yoga, not good in Lagree, okay? You're just wasting your time, okay? People are gonna put too much effort in trying to do something they're not accustomed to. I don't like it, okay? And in the same category of exercise, we have the relevé and the plié. So many years ago, I had to let go of this master trainer because he was obsessed with ballet. He brought ballet into every exercise. Now, I'm gonna give you a quick history. Pilates is loaded with ballet terminology. Plié first position, plié second position, relevé, pointe, all that stuff, right? This is the terminology that you will study when you study Pilates. Why? Because the original clientele of Pilates, I'm talking about the Pilates, you know, from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, you know, Martha Graham, right? She brought all the dancers to Joseph Pilates' studio to basically maintain their physique, okay? Number one thing, Pilates did not create those body, ballet did. Number two, Pilates was heavily influenced in ballet. Now, unless Lacey is a ballet dancer, unless I'm a ballet dancer, unless Darwin, Moses, and then Christian a ballet dancer, we don't have a need for it, okay? So let's show them a lunge into a relevé position, and then you can do it on the floor so people can see it because they might not. So you're gonna put your left foot on the floor, but right foot on number 8. Yes. That's it.
Oh, you want me lifted like that?
Yes. So you're gonna lunge down with your heels flat. There you go. So you do a regular lunge, and then as you stand up, you stand on your toes like this, right? So this guy, who is no longer doing training for me, right? But he's doing training for all the copycats. So, you know, when you guys call me and say, this guy does a master training for a copycat studio, I'm actually laughing because I know what he's doing. He's doing this shit, okay? Just don't worry. You don't want this at your studio. Let's do a standing on a thigh. Standing on a thigh is in a relevé position. You don't need to go to that extreme. It's completely unnecessary, okay? We're not teaching ballet. We're not teaching Pilates. We're not teaching yoga. We're teaching Lagree. So there you go, right over here in a relevé position, okay? That's what I mean, okay? When you do a leg press, you're in the plie, first position, second position. These are ballet terminology. They're not Lagree terminology. You're not doing Lagree, okay? So again, you're gonna do whatever you want at your studio, but I hope that enough students are seeing this video so now they can see what you should do and what you should not do. The reason that I created Lagree On Demand is because I was just tired of seeing so much like exercise that really don't belong in the method. So with Lagree On Demand, lagreeod.com, you go there and every exercise that is approved for the Lagree method is listed on that. Matter of fact, you're gonna recognize Lacey because Lacey is helping me to shoot all the exercises. Right now, we've shot about 500 exercises on the Mega, 500 exercises on the Mini Pro, and 500 on the Micro. I've pledged to create 1,000 exercises, right? So 1,000 exercises for the Mega, the Micro, the Mini Pro, we're halfway done. I guarantee you're not gonna see those variations, okay? The reality is you could probably have 10,000 exercises on the Mega Former, but not all 10,000 exercises are good in a Lagree class, okay? Please, you know? And if you're out there watching these videos and you're offended because you teach some of this exercise, don't be offended. This is part of the learning curve. I'm trying to help you to teach better, higher quality, safer, more effective, and more time-efficient classes. Another thing that I don't like to see in class, now these are not bad exercises, but they're bad exercises in a group environment, and these are all the exercises where your feet are staggered and the curtsy lunge, okay? Because when you do staggered, right, when your feet are not parallel, or curtsy lunge, the position of your feet depends on what? It depends on many things. It depends on your balance, it depends on your strength, it depends on your endurance, it depends on your mobility, it depends on the ratio of your legs to torso. I don't know if you notice, but some people have short torso, long legs. Some people have long legs, short torso. Some people have both long leg, long torso, and so on. There are so many body types out there. We're not all endo, ecto, mesomorphic, okay? There's more to the story than just that. And so because depending on how your body is structured, you're gonna need different alignments. So if you teach a curtsy or a staggered exercise, you're gonna need 10, 20, 30 different ways of staggering or doing the curtsy lunge. Not time efficient. Keep the staggered exercise, keep the curtsy lunge for one-on-one. Curtsy lunge is definitely an exercise that I hate to see because it's too much effort on the knee. And I've seen people doing curtsy lunge the wrong way, and I'm like, oh my God. I don't want to be responsible when the micro tear is so severe in the knee, okay? So be careful with doing curtsy lunge on the lunge. And I would say only do the curtsy lunge if you've already accustomed to do the curtsy lunge on the floor and you see a real benefit, and then you know how to position yourself. But if you do a curtsy lunge in class, you've never done it before, and you're relying on the instructor, I would opt not to do it, okay? Because you need to be in the perfect alignment in order to create the least amount of friction on the knee. And we talk about this because Lacey and I just did a video about anti-inflammatory fitness, and we know that if you put the wrong motion on the joint, what is it gonna do? You're gonna increase the torque, you're gonna increase the pressure, and you start to create micro tear in the connective tissues. I don't want that. Again, me to you, whatever you wanna do, okay? Another subtle adjustment that I don't like, we're gonna go into a bear position, like when you put one foot on top of the next. I see that a lot in class, and this one is perfectly safe. It's, you know, somewhat effective, right? But I think it's just unnecessary because when you have 30, 40, 50 people in class, again, I don't know if everyone is going to see that stuff, okay? That's kind of on the orange. This is kind of a questionable one, okay? I'm not gonna take this one entirely out of Lagree Method, but just be conscious that when you operate and you have 30, 40, 60, 70, 100 people, because this is where the method is going, right? The reason I'm making this video right now is because more and more studios are opening with a larger amount of machine. That's what I'm recommending. If you want to make a lot of money, if you want your studio to net over $1 million a year in sales, you got to have more machines. That is definitely, okay? The more machines you have, the more money you're going to make, but also the more opportunities for falling and risk and stuff like that, right? For people to hurting themselves. So I'm giving you the golden rules over here, you know, to avoid and to basically eliminate those unfortunate scenarios. And then we have exercise with a long setup. So there's an exercise that I've seen, I really don't like it. That's the one you showed me, Lacey, where we have a heavy spring. So people do exercise in area 51, not only on the back, they do them on the front. So there's a heavy lunge that people do, and with a black spring, so already you can see that Lacey's having a hard time getting into position because she's got a black spring, she's got a heavy spring, red spring for those of you who are still not up to date with Lagree. And so what you do is you kind of put your foot there on that carriage and you push out. And I've seen that at so many studios, and I don't know where it started, but that's stupid, okay? That is just pure stupid, okay? Because if you lose your tension over here, that carriage is gonna come and boom, get you in that leg. You're gonna hurt yourself. In Spanish, we say no bueno, okay? No bueno, all right? This one is no bueno all the time, okay? Don't do exercises where literally your foot, your leg, or any member is gonna be between the platform and the carriage, because the carriage wants to come back to the platform. So you lose, even if you only have a light spring and you lose your balance and the carriage comes back into your leg, you're gonna hurt yourself. And it's gonna hurt you in the back of the calf. It's a sensitive area, okay? How do I know that? Because maybe I was dumb enough to do it myself, okay? I don't recommend this one. Now, obviously, you're all gonna have your thoughts and your ideas, and that's fine. It's totally fine, okay? But for me, I just feel a necessity, I feel an obligation to all of you because Lagree is going very fast. This year has been the fastest growth ever. I mean, I got Bible size of agreements on my table on a weekly basis. Right now we're about 700, 800 studios worldwide. Next year, we might actually double that numbers. It's going very, very fast, okay? With increased production capacity on the Mega Pro, the Mini Pro, the Micro. We have the Micro Pro coming out. We have a bunch of machines coming out. We got more manufacturers than ever before. We can handle the demand, and the demand is going fast. So I think now is a very good time for me to start to kind of organize things a little bit. Now, I'm working on a new LMS system, and you're like, what's LMS? The new Lagree Academy, okay? If you're a teacher and you don't have an account on Lagree Academy, wow, okay, so see, you're not a good teacher, period, okay? You cannot be a good teacher if you don't even have an account on Lagree Academy, okay? And if you don't have an account on Academy, you should probably ask your studio why, okay? Now, I'm gonna say that on Lagree Academy, we're rechanging everything. First of all, I'm working extensively on programming the AI, because AI is gonna help us a lot answering some of your questions. So you have AI integrated into Lagree Academy, so you can have real conversation with essentially me. But the best part about it, there's gonna be a whole section on it where it's a forum. You guys can communicate. There's gonna be a whole section on new exercises. And for the first time, you guys will have a chance of posting this exercise on Lagree Academy, and we can all look at it. We can all comment and say, if this is a good exercise, if this is safe, is it effective, is it efficient, and we can all participate and then give our thoughts. Because for me, it's very important to keep the Lagree method alive. I'm looking at what's going on in the Pilates method right now, in the Pilates world, and Pilates is looking like a little bugs on its back, and it cannot get back on its leg. Why? Because I came in the picture. Since 1998, I've introduced the world, the Pilates community, a different way of using the reformer, okay? Because all these machines are based on a reformer, but they're not reformer. That's the problem. So Pilates is having a hard time right now because they want to catch up to what I'm doing, and I'm begging the Pilates community to not go after what Lagree is doing because I'm a crazy. Estoy loco, man. Yes, muy loco, okay? I'm going to do things that nobody else has done before because that interests me. I want to retain the uniqueness and authenticity of the method. And the best way to do this is not to stick to what we're doing, it's to include new exercise, new methodology, new training techniques, new features. I know that more than anyone else. The reason Pilates is on its back right now is because when Joseph Pilates died, no one dared to evolve the method. And now, 40 years later, I come in the picture, people's like, we got to catch up to Lagree. Don't. Don't do a high-intensity Pilates. Don't do a progressive Pilates. There's no Pilates 2.0. That stuff doesn't exist. Stick to the Pilates method. The Pilates method is a beautiful method, okay? It's supposed to do what it's supposed to do. Now, come for Lagree, I don't want to end up in the same situation as Pilates. So we are looking forward. There's a lot of exercise that I'm cutting out because every year I'm curating the method. Some exercises are in, some exercises are out. This beautiful Mega Pro is in. The M3 is out. The M3S is out. The M3K is out. I'm redoing the Evo, yes, because we have a lot of people who love the Evo. We're going to do an Evo Pro, maybe coming out next year. If you're good to me, it'll come out next year, Evo Pro, okay? We have the Mega X. So I am advancing the method and the machine in a certain way. So if you want to advance the method and the machine a certain way, you're going to have to choose the exercise that you create a little differently. Me, when I create an exercise, when I add a new exercise to the Lagree method, I'm looking at the exercise that I currently do, bear, runner's lunge, elevator lunge, all that stuff, plank, all that stuff, and I'm trying to see if there's variations. So for example, here are 3 new exercises for you that are safe, effective, efficient, based on the Lagree method. So the first one is the flying kneeling crunch. Flying kneeling crunch, we're going to put 1 silver spring. So Lacey is going to show you how to do a kneeling crunch, and then she's going to show you how to do the flying version of that. So elbows on the platform, knees on the carriage. All right, that's the kneeling crunch you all love, right? Well, you have to move the knees in though. There you go. You have to crunch that spine. There you go. And then move your knees to your elbows as you crunch that spine. Bring the knees all the way in. There you go, like that. Okay, so that's the kneeling crunch. So now we have a flying kneeling crunch, and you're going to see that on Lagree On Demand, and you're going to see another video with Lacey where we go over the kneeling, flying, and the extended bear. So all right, look at this one. And then you pull right over here. That's it. So that is a flying kneeling crunch. This is a Lagree exercise. Okay, it's based on the same foundation as the kneeling crunch and the bear. And now stay right in that position, Lacey. And we're going to go into the reverse giant extended bear. So you're going to go into the bear, moving the carriage back, aligning your hips, stabilizing your spine. And as you move your knees back toward you, right when your knees are underneath the hips, you're going to go into that kneeling crunch. So it's a combination. The reverse giant extended bear is a combination of the reverse giant bear with a reverse giant flying kneeling crunch. And now I feel like I'm ready to order a coffee at Starbucks. Let's do another one. This one was given to me by Lori Corbin. Lori showed me the diagonal torso twist. I'm not sure if Lori came up with this exercise, but I loved it. So let's do the diagonal torso twist. And then, so the torso twist is a great series of exercise. And I'm going to put 2 or 3 white spring. There you go. So the diagonal torso twist. I taught this one yesterday in class, so a couple days ago. I like this one. You're going to sit on your heels, and you're going to turn facing the pulley. And as you slowly stand up, you're going to pull the hands across diagonally. There you go. That's a great variation. So that is also another good exercise based on the kneeling torso twist. By the way, if you go on Lagree On Demand, you're going to start seeing a mountain of variations for the kneeling torso twist, a mountain of variations for the side plank, a mountain of exercise based on the plank, on the bear, on the runner's lunge, on the elevator lunge, on the skating. The skating, we're adding more and more and more variations to the skating. And that is going to take me all the way to 1,000 exercises. There are so many possibilities. What I like about an exercise like this, for example, you already have familiarity because you're already doing the kneeling torso twist. So this is just an add-on. Great. And in that position over here, there are so many exercises you can do. Okay? That's what I would recommend if you guys wanted to basically do, if you wanted to add exercise to the method. Now that said, I'm not saying that you cannot post all these exercises, you cannot create all these exercises. I love them, but it's for the people who are watching this exercise. Use your brain, okay? There's a lot of exercises that I repost on social media that I don't approve for the method, but I will repost them because I appreciate the time that you spend creating those exercises. I just hope that everyone else can recognize that these are posts, okay? Whatever you see on social media doesn't make it doesn't mean that it's part of the Lagree workout, okay? It's on my post, it's on Sebastien Lagree, it's not on Lagree Fitness. We're not reposting this exercise on Lagree Fitness. It's me personally as the creator and the founder of this method. I appreciate what so many of you are doing out there. You know, you're putting your chef, costume on and you're trying to create new dishes. And I appreciate that, okay? But some of the stuff, the people who are watching that stuff, some of that stuff, no bueno, okay? Now, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, suggestions, please let me know. Lacey, by the way, is there anything that I mean?
I think you covered all the bases.
You think I covered all the bases?
Yes.
Is there anything that you've seen that is just you think is just like no bueno?
I mean, I don't like stepping off the machine or not using the machine or the tension, the spring tension in exercises. So when I take classes and they have us do like step ups or burpees or things you can do in the gym, it frustrates me because I'm here to take a Lagree class.
Yes, like step up and burpees, you can do a lot of stuff. Remember that these machines are not built for you to, like a Stairmaster, right? Step up on that. I've seen a lot of studio people get on the shoes and they kind of jump on the rear platform. Then very quickly that rear platform loses its shape, and then people come in and say, what's going on the rear platform? Well, you're not supposed to step up on that, okay? So you remember that the machine is built for how we're using the equipment, not necessarily how some of you may use it, okay? So that's actually a good point. I'm glad you brought this up. If you have other points like this, please comment. This is an important point, okay? I'm about to take the method in a whole, not different way. It's not different for me because I'm just following the trajectory. But for many of you, what I'm about to do to the method might sound crazy. All right, I will let you guys go. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Sebastien Lagree. See you next time.